What do you remember the president saying about immigration from African countries to the United States?
What I heard him saying was that he'd like to move away from a country-based quota system to a merit-based system. So it shouldn't matter where you're from. It should matter what you can contribute to the United States.
How did he characterize those countries in Africa?
I don't specifically remember a categorization of countries in Africa. I think what he was saying is, as far as best I could tell, and as you know, there were about a dozen people in the room. There were a lot of cross conversations. There was a lot of rough talk by a lot of people in the room. But what I understood him to be saying is, let's move away from the countries and let's look at the individual and make sure that those we bring here can contribute to our society.
What did the president say about immigrants from Norway?
I heard him repeating what he had learned in a meeting before, that they are industrious, that they are a hardworking country. They don't have much crime there. They don't have much debt. I think in general, I just heard him giving compliments to Norway.
You said on Fox News that the president used strong language. What was that strong language?
Let's see. Strong language, there was... apologies, I don't remember a specific word. What I was struck with, frankly, as I'm sure you were as well, was just the general profanity that was used in the room by almost everyone.
Did you hear me use profanity?
No, sir. Neither did I.
Did you hear Senator Graham use profanity?
I did hear tough language from Senator Graham, yes, sir.
What did he say?
He used tough language. He was impassioned. I think he was feeling very strongly about the issue, as was everyone in the room. And to underscore a point, I think he was using some strong language.
Do you recall that the strong language he used repeated exactly what the president had said prior to that?
I remember specific cuss words being used by a variety of members.
And there we have it. Kirstjen Nielsen, the Secretary of the Department of Homeland Security. Not a lot on the wall, not a lot on North Korea, but whether or not Donald Trump said a bad word. Please don't hate me for this. Holding over is Liberal Steve at KIDO Talk Radio.
Okay, let's get rid of the bad word, okay? We're done talking about the bad word. You know, you keep the media and all these people going with it. It'll go on forever till the next incident. And they're not going to shut the government down. I mean, we got how many types of jets sent into Guam now? We got the guided missiles jet. What is that, a B-5 or something? There's the B-52. There's three different types. You got everything along the West Coast, all the hospitals, everything else is on high alert. Security companies are on high alert. Everything's on high alert.
Really? What are we holding over for? I thought you were going to add something.
Kevin, do you really think it was a mistake that they pushed the button in Hawaii and then a day later in Japan they accidentally give out a news broadcast that was cleared up in 60 seconds? Do you think that was all a mistake?
Well, I know Obama has a lot of influence in Hawaii.
Well, it wasn't nothing to do with Obama. That was the Pentagon.
You don't know that.
Let's just say I believe that's what happened, because people don't make mistakes like that, Mr. Miller. That was just a test to see how people would react when it does hit the fan, and it will be hitting the fan. Okay, we don't pull all that stuff into Guam and all over North Korea shorelines or international waters.
Now it's a great time to book your vacation to Hawaii. I'm surprised somebody hasn't done a story on that, on whether or not people are not going to Hawaii based on what happened. I would think you'd get a great deal on, what is it, the Marriott on Wakigaki or whatever?
Well, number one, how many times have you been to Hawaii?
Never.
Well, you're lucky, because the traffic in Hawaii makes Los Angeles look
I would love to go to Pearl Harbor. But, as far as anything else, that's a little bougie. I'm a commoner.
Well, let's get back to shutting down the government. It's not going to happen.
Really, this conversation is not going anywhere.
Well, Crapo's worried about the debt. How long has Crapo been in office?
I know you're trying, but you're trending downward right now.
Stop. How long has Crapo been in office?
The downward trend is continuing. You're not really...
Since the beginning of time, and he's had all this time him and Risch and everybody else, to get the debt under control. But he keeps using excuses that it's everybody else.
We were talking about the president and the word. Now you've kind of flipped. You've pulled a Mitt Romney here.
I said, let the president go.
You know
the
where
king
this.
has
You
no
know
vote.
where this conversation's going, and it's not going to end well for you.
And here's the other thing I heard in the rumor mill, and I believe is possibly true, that the doctor was told to say all those things, and Trump was given the ultimatum that he has to resign in the next 6-7 months.
Bad call on my part. Liberal Steve, thank you for the call.
Just asked the president's mental fitness for office.
I had absolutely no concerns about his cognitive ability.
Explain to me how a guy who eats McDonald's and Kentucky Fried Chicks and all those Diet Cokes and who never exercises is in as good a shape as you say he's in.
It's called genetics. I don't know.
Is there anything you're keeping from us for privacy reasons?
I can promise you there's absolutely nothing that I'm withholding from this. But I would say he sleeps 4 to 5 hours a night, I think he's probably been that way his whole life. That's probably one of the reasons why he's been successful. He's just one of those people, I think, that just does not require a lot of sleep. I told the president that if he had a healthier diet over the last 20 years, he might live to be 200 years old. I don't know.
There we have it. What did we used to call that? Trump derangement syndrome. And it's funny, if you ever get a chance to watch on YouTube, they stream it live, or you can go back, the White House press conferences with Sarah Sanders. And it's amazing. Is the president a racist? Is the president not healthy? Is he a kook? And these are people that make, I'd say on the low end, $300,000-$400,000 a year to wear their suits, to get all prim and proper. I don't know if their grammar's any good, but I mean, they're paid literally to sit in a room and ask the dumbest questions that we would get laughed at the dinner table. Once again, let's hear from this one more time. And Jim, thank you for the compliment for giving Liberal Steve the boot. Here's the doctor. Now, focus in on his answers and just the Trump derangement syndrome going on with the media.
Asked the president's mental fitness for office.
I had absolutely no concerns about his cognitive ability.
Explain to me how a guy who eats McDonald's and Kentucky Fried Chicks and all those Diet Cokes and who never exercises is in as good a shape as you say he's in.
It's called genetics. I don't know.
Is there anything you're keeping from us for privacy reasons?
I can promise you there's absolutely nothing that I'm withholding from this. And I would say he sleeps 4 to 5 hours a night, I think he's probably been that way his whole life. That's probably one of the reasons why he's been successful. He's just one of those people, I think, that just does not require a lot of sleep. I told the president that if he had a healthier diet over the last 20 years, he might live to be 200 years old. I don't know.
You talk to doctors, and really it comes down to genetics. The young lady who's in her 90s that smoked 6 packs a day, well, maybe a pack a day, or drank, and you have other people that practice the healthy lifestyle. It really is genetics. Joining us now, a rare but certainly welcomed friend, Patriot Ray on KIDO Talk Radio. Good morning, sir.
Well, good morning to you, Kevin, and to all of your listeners. The Democrats have nothing. So they have to play the race card. They have to play, he spoke bad language about a country. Oh, my gosh, we can't have that. Look, we all know that the language in these meetings gets horrible at times. And nobody knew everything about the language of Obama, and he had plenty to do and say. But yet they have to keep this narrative going that, he can't do that. That's horrible. We need to get rid of him. And his health, his health is terrible. Well, his doctor came out and said he's doing fine. He's one of those people who doesn't require a lot of sleep. Personally, if I get 6 hours of sleep, I'm doing great. I don't need any more than that. My clock wakes me up at 5:30 every morning, my internal clock. And so I'm one of those people who doesn't need a lot either, but I sure enjoy it when I get an extra. But, I just can't believe that we have so many Republicans who are really not Republicans. They do not support this country. They're just Democrats. They're rhinos only, and that's it. So I just don't understand the narrative of the press. They're just, everybody's against him and the things that he's done. The stock market's been going up and up and up. We've had more jobs created. all they have to do is look at the evidence. The evidence is there that he's doing a great job. We need to support him, and we need to get rid of this media that will not stand up and tell the truth. They just want to keep throwing the lies out there. So, Kevin, you're doing a great job. I love listening to the show. I really do. Except for liberal Steve. I have a hard time with him sometimes, but we need him too because he shows how ignorant he can be. And we just enjoy that too. So, Kevin, just keep up the good work. And we love listening to people call in, and you're getting more and more listeners. That means it's growing, and you're going to be around for a while. So just keep hanging in there. Thank you, my brother.
God bless you and your family, sir. Thank you, Patriot Ray.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye. 580-5436, 580-KIDO. By the way, somebody just did a study, 90 to 95% of the media coverage on the president, negative. There's a shocker. Cindy in Caldwell joins us now at KIDO Talk Radio. Good morning, Cindy.
Well, good morning, Kevin, and thank you for having that beautiful, melodious, I think what did you call it, an ad from the Boise Philharmonic. It's just beautiful, and I love it that they're going to be painting more word pictures, by having the painters. They're going to be playing the symphony, and I just love that idea when you put the pictures behind it. But that's, really that's what the, press wants to do with this president. Everything that is out there with this press doesn't surprise me at all. A long time ago, they painted, Barry Goldwater as many of the things they've called our president. They've been as venomous, truly as a cobra. And you know what? My dad was in India. The only animal that can really take down a cobra, and he has a picture of it, I still have it, is a mongoose. With the attack, it's, you can do it in many ways. But you've got to push back. You have to push back, and that's what Donald Trump has around him. People that are really trying to speak the truth in reason. Actually, the worldview mindset, you will never do that, whether it be from, I had a laugh, whether it be from Oprah, and that, I don't want to offend a seal. And that dress, her cadence, she'd have to have, Madonna as her vice president because she used the cadence, the speech. She can deliver well as an actress. I've studied acting. And, that speech came right out of Evita Peron, Don't Cry for Me, Argentina. Just even her momentum she was picking up. She's quite good as an actress, I will say that. On the other hand, I'm never discouraged because they use the same tactics over and over and over and over again, the liberal left status, if they can't, take down our president. And tragically, for people that call in, I love it when Arvell comes in because I have a worldview such as his. And, for 8 years with President Obama, we were many of us were on our knees and actually praying for him. I mean, that may sound quite strange, but I also, like Sister Faustina, pray that really prayer of faith that says, oh my Jesus, and it's talking about salvation.
Boy, you're going old school Catholic, Sister Faustina.
Yes, well, she was when I was allowed to come into the church. That was who I chose from Poland because my husband.
That was your confirmation name.
Is Polish Catholic. So I studied her, and she got the word out, during World War II. 33 years old, she died, and she prayed, save us from the fires of hell, lead all souls, have mercy. The only thing I ever actually...
Also otherwise known as the Oh My Jesus prayer.
Yes, that's it. Oh my Jesus, forgive us our sins, save us from the fires of hell, lead all souls to heaven, especially those most needing thy mercy. So for 8 years, I was asking...
And for those people that aren't Catholic, then now you know the prayer.
No, they know the prayer. But the reality of the situation is, Kevin, that it's tragic. There's a couple passages. I love Orville when he calls in because I have the same end-time eschatology. He said something yesterday, and he wasn't talking about having a theocracy on earth now. That's what our Constitution did.
No, he did speak in favor of that.
No, but I'm talking about in end times when the Lord comes back. I'm pretty Bible literate, and so the reality, I knew what he was speaking to. It's not being in code to other Christians, but that when Jesus reigns, he's not talking about right now, but I understood extrapolating from what he's saying, and that's just it. If there were higher order reasoning with these gentlemen, instead of going on and on yesterday trying to take down the president, they would realize contextually he was talking about cultures, he was talking about just what was said. So tragically, it's not going to change. They will continue to mock him. They will continue to try to discredit him in every single way they have, but be of good cheer.
Okay.
I have you to listen for me because I just go to the good, and
maybe we'll see you at the State of the Union party.
Yeah, that sounds like a great idea. But actually, I had such a great time at that fair for children. My grandchildren are homeschooled, so I got so much stuff to tell people there, pencils and pens, that you're going to be at on the 27th. I forget the name.
That's the Canyon County Kids Fair.
No, well, I had a great time over there.
Let me know if you want some tickets.
Oh, okay. Thanks, Kevin. I will. So just keep pressing on. Despite all my East Coast friends who send me all the time the most horrible caricatures of Donald Trump, and I just, very nicely respond. We're going to keep this president in office. We're going to keep praying, and this country will move forward despite those trying to take it down from within. So,
Cindy, God bless. I got to run.
No, you go, Kevin. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Appreciate her. Eva in Meridian. How do we top that on KIDO Talk Radio with Kevin Miller? Good morning.
Good morning, Kevin. A wonderful Wednesday to you.
And to you, ma'am.
Hey, I would like to bring things back from national to local a little bit. I had to go to the Nampa City Council meeting last night, but I'm very interested in what happened at the Star City Council meeting, and I was hoping you could shed some light on that.
Well, there are a lot of people in Star, Idaho that listen to this program that are very active and monitor the City Council meeting, Eva, so I will allow them to, not allow them, but encourage them if something big happened. I'm sure the controversy continues over, now I guess there's going to be a lawsuit, or the lawsuit's going forward concerning all this building that's happening in Star and everywhere else and the big money. And I'm sure someone, whether it's George or someone else, will call in and let us know.
Well, I would like to say kudos to the Nampa City Council and their new mayor, Debbie Sling.
She's good.
They did an awesome job last night, and the great news is they're not going to sell off any of the Idaho horse parks.
Well, and props to the folks in Nampa. And, Eva, I've got to run. Anything else, ma'am?
No, have a great day, Kevin.
Eva, thank you for listening. We appreciate you. Thank you. All right. Much more coming up. KIDO Talk Radio. You're listening to Kevin Miller. Not to be uber local, but I do have a question for you. There's a big meeting last night in Meridian at the City Hall, and you had people meeting with the big developer. And as we know, and look, we pride ourselves in one day, perhaps once we surround the city of Boise, we know we have a lot of folks that are in the city of Boise that are urging Republicans, conservatives to rise up and take down the liberal infestation that has happened. Okay, maybe that's a little extreme. People, we can agree to disagree, right? I mean, what do we have, like state senators urging the congressional delegation to denounce the president? That's going to go far. Anyway, it's ironic because you have this growing progressive base in the city of Boise, and you have a lot of people that say, look, this is not the Idaho that I love and belong to. So what do? Well, we worry about, everybody in the Treasure Valley. If you notice, it's a Treasure Valley show, which Boise is a part of. But you take a look at the growth in, West Ada and the like. So this is something that I'd be interested to hear what you have to say at 580-5436, 580-KIDO. So you've got Winco, awesome company, local company, just killing it across the country. They want to build a Winco down, as Dave Petzel would say, down yonder, Chinden and Linder, right? Which, like everything in West Ada, East Canyon is booming. In fact, you heard the rumors that there'll be a third congressional district one day, maybe in 2020. Maybe Meridian-centric, who knows? which would be odd because I don't know how you would figure out the districts there. It's just like straight half down the state right now. So you've got Winco wanting to come in, and I believe Costco wants to come in. But the Winco, I believe, would be right across the street from the Fred Meyer, and then they're going to build like a community. Like, I don't know if it'd be like the Village, but it'd be like Winco, and you could live there, not at the Winco. But you have many people saying, look, we're business friendly, but the traffic there, I mean, you have 2 lanes on Linder. Well, kind of, sort of, maybe 4 lanes to a degree by the new Meridian Temple. But you have 2 lanes on Chinden, and you're going to build this massive new store, which is going to employ a lot of people and give Fred Meyer a run for its money. Props to Wendy and Ryan at Fred Meyer. We love them. However, and to David at Walmart at Garrity, I hope he's listening. I've been there the past couple of days. I don't go to Sun Valley or Hawaii. I usually go to the Fred Meyer, the Winco, or the Walmart. Those are my places that I frequent. However, when is enough too much? At 580-5436, 580-KIDO. Maybe this is happening in your community. In Caldwell, I was there, a month ago, and it was, the downtown was just all chewed up. They've built this nice little loop-de-loop with St. Luke's, and the traffic's oppressive on State Street, even more than usual. Shouldn't we take a step back, or is more? Think about that for a moment. Traffic and weather together. Coming up, let's talk about smart, intelligent growth in the Treasure Valley. And are you willing to pony up in more taxes? Well, we can't do growth without raising taxes, right? Are we just going to call ourselves, Idafornia? Idaho? Calaho? Look, we got to laugh. Too early to be upset. Silly rabbit, tricks are for kids. Kevin Miller in the morning, KIDO Talk Radio. Good morning, Maggie.
Good morning.
Sometimes you just click on something and you get these alerts. This ever happened to you? We've got the Zeus virus detected on your computer. Don't shut down your computer or reset it. And don't worry, I'm not going to do that. But, just to let you know that here at the Broadcast Center, we don't live in the ivory towers. We're right there with you every step of the way. So we've got growth in Meridian, growth in Nampa, growth in Boise. Are we managing it effectively? And look, I'm all for more choices coming in when we're talking, competition, whether it's restaurants, whether it's, hotels. We got a lot of hotels all of a sudden. Whether it's restaurants, grocery stores. I don't know what else is there, really. When you tell people, hey, you live in the Treasure Valley, I say, well, we've got a lot of churches. We've got a lot of gyms. Got a lot of dentists. Is that it? But back to this meeting last night at City Hall in Meridian where people were saying, look, man, you better do this right. You better do, we don't want the Winco here. We do want the Winco. We don't want the Winco. But let's face it. Is it worth the inconvenience? And what was it? Mayor Tammy talking about that Chinden needs to be expanded. So do you let the business in or do you expand it first? Well, we might have an economic downturn. Hey, look what happened to Bitcoin. It's tanking now at $10,000 a Bitcoin. By the way, it was it peaked at $17,000. Of course, if you bought it when it was $1,000 or $2,000, you're still ahead. 580-5436, 580-KIDO. Common Sense Ken joins us now on managing growth and managing people in the Gem State. Good morning, sir.
Kevin, where's our leadership and some common sense? Why should I have to pay more taxes for the new people in California or wherever coming in? They aren't getting the good deal. They're selling their house for $700,000 and buying the same house for $350,000 here. So if we charged an impact fee of $10,000, which would be fair, and they wouldn't even blink an eye at it. What's $10,000? They still got $330,000 left. Why should my taxes go up for them to make a great deal like that? What do you think?
Well, I think it's great if you're already here, but you do have to. I mean, we're going to pass it along to the consumer, and that might quell the growth, but we have to do something about the growth. I mean, look. It's wonderful that we now all of a sudden we have to, we have these new things that want to come in, but I don't know, yesterday, Common Sense Ken, can I share a story with you?
Sure.
So usually I come into the broadcast center, I do everything, and I live a charmed life. My traffic commute isn't bad at 4 in the morning, and sometimes I'll leave at like 3 or 4 in the afternoon. Still not bad comparatively speaking. Last night I came in, and I'll be back into the city to do some backup work on my backup career. So, what they call that Plan B. So I'm driving in, and it's like 5:30. And it's stop and go from when you get onto the connector to when the connector merges. And this is the new normal? If you're running for, transportation secretary, dog catcher, those are the real issues that people want addressed. What's the plan, man?
So the real issues are, why should I have to pay for it? Why not charge those people that are selling their house at a fortune to come in here and buy the same house for half the price? Why can't they pay the cost of roads, water, electricity, etc.? I mean, it's crazy that we have to pay for it. We've been here 50 years, and why should we have to pay for them coming in? We need impact fees, period.
Who has enough guts to do that?
Not Boom Boom Beater, who made this a welcoming sanctuary city.
Here's
and
the
I
other
never
one.
have any.
Here's the other one with Mayor Beater. He sure likes to spend the city's money on buying new things, too.
Well, I said in an editorial to the Statesman that why not just pay the bus trolley, see what kind of ridership he gets. We're not going to have any ridership on public transportation until it costs $50 a day to park.
I feel sorry for the people in Boise. I really do, but they keep electing that young man. And
well, that's the crazy.
He's got it figured out. He does nothing he does everything polarizing, but he only does ribbon cutting, and he only has positive media coverage.
That's because the mentally ill liberals in the North End voting in.
Well, there have to be other people in the city of Boise besides the folks in the North End.
Well, I don't know.
There needs to be an uprising. I mean, will there be a champion to defend or to try and restore the city of Boise?
We need something. We sure don't need Beater.
Common Sense Ken, thank you for the call.
Sure, bye.
Bye-bye. KIDO Talk Radio, our time is 8:41. Now, yesterday I promised Mark Meckler that would appear on this program. He'll be on tomorrow. Operator error on my part. He's the founder of the Tea Party Patriots Movement. He's coming into town to talk about the CON, whether or not we need to get rid of the Constitution and have a convention of states. You don't want to miss that. That's tomorrow morning during the 8 o'clock hour. Joining us now, the sweet prince of the Treasure Valley, the Vince Gironda of Treasure Valley Health and Fitness. And if you know that reference, you do know bodybuilding. It is Tea Party Bob, publisher of the Gem State Patriot at KIDO Talk Radio.
Mr. Miller, I have to tell you, another great show this morning. I missed you the last couple of days, but I did listen to your shows. I'd like to make my reservation for the State of the Union party. This is a great idea. I'm really looking forward to that one.
You can thank your man Doug for doing that, and that's really what happens. We don't come up with ideas. We just reflect the ideas of the people that listen. Our great friend Doug Facebooked me and said, hey, can you make this happen? We talked to Rance. He talked to Brian at Dave & Buster's, and we'll be back. So we'll have a viewing party. We've got the KIDO Talk Radio app. Now, usually when I say something, then Tea Party Bob will say, well, you've got the Gem State Patriot app. I don't know if you have that yet, but maybe we'll get one over on you.
I don't think we need an app yet. I want to just mention that, Common Sense Ken is right with that. The impact fees need to be raised here substantially, especially on all of the urban renewal projects that are going up at taxpayer expense. And just a few words about the much to do about nothing comments of Donald Trump using the S word. If you go back in history, you'll find YouTubes on both Lindsey Graham and Dick Durbin depicting the very same countries the president was talking about with the very same language he used. So this is no more than the pot calling the kettle black. And the Democrats have nothing to work with in the 2018 election. They basically have no platform with which to combat the tremendous strides this country has taken forward because of the Trump economy. The Dems have no issues in which to campaign except those disparaging remarks about the president who's filling everybody's pockets with money and creating millions of jobs. and I will maintain that the people are going to vote with their wallets, as they usually do. And you're going to see the Democrats lose big in this midterm election, along with the rhinos who have been fighting Trump tooth and nail. You've already seen a group of these rhinos decline to run for office, mostly because they're unelectable. So we finally have a president who shows how to run he shows us how to run a country in a business-like manner. And I, for one, support him 100%, and so should every other American. You know, this is the first time we've seen a real change in America since the Reagan era. And it's going to be a nice ride, so enjoy it while you can, because you know what happens? We wind up with a Democrat after we have all the good Republican economy going through. So let's see what happens in the next 8 to 9 months, and I guarantee you we're not going to see a lot of Democrats win elections, especially in Trump states.
The publisher of the Gem State Patriot, Tea Party Bob, joining us at KIDO Talk Radio. Now, your publication goes into Boise, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Well, maybe you should look at recruiting someone that would have enough guts to take on Mayor Beater and see whether or not, you know, everybody says, well, it's the North End. The North End must have like the majority of the population of the city of Boise. I don't believe that, but you know, maybe you could run somebody on hope and change. I hear that works fairly well.
In the words of Tony Sinesco, who went through almost 18,000 homes and finally figured out that there are no Republicans in the North End. I mean, zero. So there's not a chance of winning that city for a Republican. It's not going to happen. They have turned it. They have actually finally turned it. In fact, I'm trying to get the numbers to see what the difference is in Ada County right now between Democrats and Republicans, because last time I looked, it was like 3,500 or 2,500.
And see, that's what's underreported is that they're trying to grow that influence throughout Ada County, and many people believe that Ada County will be lost like Constantinople was and Rome was.
Well, they're working on it. I mean, the only thing that's holding it back now is Meridian. It's still reasonably Republican, and most of the people who tried to get away from the from the liberals down in Boise have moved out to Meridian. So, you're not going to change what's happening in Boise.
Look,
That's not going to happen.
You heard it here first. Meridian one day will have more population than the city of Boise.
Oh, well, I guarantee you that's going to happen. There's no question. When I first moved down here and moved out here, there were 30,000 people in Meridian. When I moved out here in 2004, I think there were like 60, and now we got 90,000. We're going to surpass them in no time.
And you'll be leading the way.
I'll be leading the way probably to Horseshoe Bend.
Tea Party Bob.
Too many people.
Outing his new compound. Thank you, sir.
Have a great day, Kevin.
As always, our great friend Tea Party Bob. Tommy joins us now from Boise at KIDO Talk Radio. Good morning, Tommy.
Good morning, Kevin. How are you today?
I'm very excited to hear what you have to say about parking in the downtown Boise area.
Yeah. Well, I've worked downtown for years, and they're always talking about how they want to build up downtown and get everything going down there and do this and the other. And then they install these new meters that if I'm working, I have to, leave my shift and go and plug the meter, because when I go into work, my money won't last long enough till 8 o'clock. I mean, I'm there too early. And plus the fact that, you consider people that are dining and they have to get up from their dinner and go plug the meter. If they decide to go it's a 2-hour meter and they've got, 2 hours left before 8 o'clock, it's just killing the business. Now, I understand that they're saying that they want to have people using the parking garages, but there's still going to be so much overflow, it's not going to make any difference.
And I got news for you. The parking garages aren't cheap either.
I know. Personally, I don't like parking in them because I don't feel safe in parking garages.
Well, and they're crazy. Now, I happened to be working on my Plan B career last night, so I don't really, look, I don't want to bash the city of Boise, but it appears to me to be very unwelcoming to business and to people. The hassle with parking is a big thing for me, and maybe that's me. So last night I go down to, the little strip there, Bodo, and,
right.
And I'm walking around, and I notice a young lady who's working at P.F. Chang's who has to come out, and again, I'm not going to P.F. Chang's, I'm just walking by, literally comes out to feed the meter and then goes back into work.
Yes. And that works fine if you're within a block, but sometimes you have to park like blocks away.
Right.
And for customers downtown, it's the same thing. And losing Saturday parking is ridiculous.
Yeah, that is something that we really need to address, Tommy. When you go to, let's build ourselves up. We want to be like such and such and big this and big that, which is not really why people moved here. Those cities, you have free parking on Saturday. What's up with the city of Boise and the beater meter?
Yeah, well, I guess he was the deciding vote, is from what I hear. It was Well, whoever owns the parking garages are making out like bandits, and plus, the city's going to be making so much profit on parking citations.
Well, that allows them to buy more parks and more area that they won't develop.
Right.
Yeah.
So I am just livid with this whole thing because I work downtown. Now I'm going, okay, well, how am I going to do this when I go into work?
Yeah, and I'm so sorry. I mean, there was, I don't want to reveal some lady because she was stressed out about parking because she parked at, one of the stores. And, you're only supposed to be there if you're in the store. And she was literally stressing out last night. And I'm going, this isn't very welcoming.
No, it's not.
Yeah.
I don't understand how they're going to build up the traffic and business downtown when everything they're doing is killing it. So
Tommy,
that's my 2 cents on that.
Your 2 cents are always welcome here at KIDO Talk Radio.
Okay. Well, thank you, Kevin. Keep up the good work.
Thank you. See you, Tommy.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Coming up, Nick in Nampa and Tom in Nampa. And do we need impact fees? Kevin Miller, KIDO Talk Radio. Kevin Miller in the morning here at KIDO Talk Radio. Let's go to Nick in Nampa. Nick, good morning.
Hey, good morning, Kevin. How are you?
Just trying to make sense of a senseless world, and you?
I guess we're all doing our best, huh?
Yes, sir.
So, hey, I just wanted to throw a different aspect to the impact fees a little bit. I started a business last year, and I only have about 10 employees, but, it's 10 local Idahoans that have jobs because of this business, and I'm a native Idahoan. And when I started my business last year, the impact fees were very prohibitive. I could not believe the sticker shock that I got just to open up a business where I did. And I know that we're talking about homes and builders and people moving in and maybe doing impact fees on homes, but I think we need to be very careful that when we talk about raising impact fees, we're not doing it on everything carte blanche, but we need to make sure that we're not prohibiting businesses from opening and hiring people because impact fees are crazy. You know what I mean?
Well, no, I wouldn't know what you mean, but can you give us a hypothetical? So you want to open up a business. What do they say? Hey, you're going to pay us this money or not?
Yeah, I mean, basically, before you can open your doors, before you can, before they approve your plans and planning and zoning, before you can even open your doors and get your occupational license to be able to serve people or open to the public, you have to pay these impact fees, and it's based on a number. They have different formulas for different kinds of industries, but I own a restaurant, and we can seat up to 40 people, and just to be able to open up a restaurant for 40 people, the impact fees were nearly $25,000. And when you have a limited budget to open up a restaurant or any other type of business, and you're trying to, squeak every ounce of pennies you can to do things on the cheap, and you have a $25,000 bill before you can even open your doors and get cash flow coming in. It took us. It was a very prohibitive thing. We almost didn't open because of the impact fees. So it was very, like I said, prohibitive.
Wonder where that money is going, because I'm familiar, and you've always been great to us. I'm familiar with your spot, so in addition to rent and the lease and the remodel and putting everything in, the city of Nampa said, "Hey, you're going to pay us $25,000."
Yeah, I mean, and they weren't picking on us. I think that's just the cost of doing business, and to me, again, it was very prohibitive. And I think when we talk about raising impact fees, we got to be very careful, because if other small business owners are trying to open something, whatever the industry is, and provide jobs, we don't want to give them any more roadblocks than they already have, because it is a huge risk. It's a huge financial risk to open up a business, and we should be getting out of people's way and not getting in their way. You know what I mean? So,
well, Nick, I appreciate you, and I believe I ran into you at Fred Meyer, right?
Yes, sir.
Yep, I know you well.
Sure.
I've been in your neighborhood the last few days. I need to stop in and hang out. I did stop by one time, and it's like the one time you left early. So we appreciate you. And, next time call in, make sure you name your restaurant, so we'll give you a free plug, all right?
All right. Well, I didn't want the city of Nampa coming after me. So
that's why I didn't ask. So thank you, Nick.
All right. Well, have a good day, Kevin.
You too, sir. Bye-bye.
All right. Bye.
Coming up, Tom in Nampa. First, traffic. And nothing's over until we say it's over. Quickly to Tom in Nampa, KIDO Talk Radio. Hey, Tom.
Hey. How you doing today?
Not bad, brother. You've got to bring it home. We've got about 30 seconds, and they're yours, Tom.
Right. All these people that are down on the president for saying third world countries are less than ideal, how many of them have ever been there and actually left the Hotel Browns? My last overseas station, was beautiful Djibouti.
Ooh.
Yeah, it makes halfway between Boise and Mountain Home look lush. Good people, really, God knows they're hardworking. Lousy government. Good people, lousy government. They made New Orleans look good.
Tom, God bless. Thank you for listening to KIDO Talk Radio.
Bye-bye.
Ray, great job as always. Good day. God bless. Keep the faith.